You're now listening to episode 8, season 2. Stay tuned, as always. Myself, Theo, Kieran, man, what you saying?
I'm all right. I didn't get blown away by my own storm, so I can't believe that. Can't believe there's an actual storm called Storm Kieran. It's crazy, man.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's not funny.
Where did they get the names from? I've always wondered this. Like, who sits in a room who's probably getting paid, I don't know, 100 grand, probably more. They've got bare names on the wall, and they just go, "Yeah, we like Kieran. We're gonna go with that one this time, or we're gonna go with Storm Sandra or Storm Philip." Like, who picks the names?
I've got no idea, but listen, if you know where I can find this job, that's paying that peas to name storms, please, you can tweet us or email us. I wanna know, because they've been trying to make them more diverse. Where is it? I've got the list up now because I was looking at it earlier in the week, but they've got like what we got storm. There's a letter for each. There's a storm name for each letter of the alphabet. So you got like one's like Agnes and Stuart, and Vincent, but then you've got Olga and like Elin. I thought there was like an Arabic name one as well, like last year. But like Regina, Tamiko, man, they're trying to level up.
I didn't even know. I just think it's mad. Like, this country, I think I've said this before, probably to you, but this country, when anything like this happens, it just seems to bring the whole country to a standstill. Like, I don't know any other country that a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind, and like everything. Bearing in mind, this country has all year to prepare for things like this. It's not like it's a one-off where it's sunny in October and November. It's cold. So they should have plenty of time to like, in a couple of weeks, it's going to snow. We probably know that. But there'll be no gritters out. The gritters won't be ready. Or there'll be a lack of, do you know what I mean? It's just mad to me. So, but yeah, the storm, man, what's it saying? What's it like down by you? I heard it's quite bad down south. It's not that bad up here. It hasn't got up here yet.
I don't know. It was all right. What day was it? I think it was Wednesday. It was a bit mad. And it like woke me up a couple of times. I thought like the rain was trying to break through the window. So it was obviously combined with the wind, and you know sometimes it's like
you're not sure if it's the rain.
Inside.
You're not sure if it's the rain or somebody trying to break in.
felt like that. But no, it wasn't too bad where I'm at. But I know certain places had it bad. I think I was hearing that there was a tornado or something in Guernsey or Jersey, one of them places. So, but no, I'm good, man. I didn't get blown away. And I didn't blow anyone away. So I'm good.
Do you know what's mad? This is going to sound a bit mad, and I don't want to offend anyone, but like, it was only the other day, actually, there was like mass floods up and down the country. And I think, or it might be linked to the storm, actually, and 3 people died.
Yeah.
But I always wonder, how do you die in a flood? And how do you die in heat as well? I always wondered, there's people who die of like in heat. I just think like there's ways to cool yourself down. And don't be fast. And when there's floods, don't go for a hike. Don't go for a swim. Do you know what I mean? Because you hear about these people that they go for like long hikes, and the winds are picking up, and it's raining, and there's floods, and then they end up in like, there was one in Liverpool actually, and they were driving. It was like there was a flood, and they were driving under a bridge, but clearly there were signs to say that the road is flooded ahead, caution, whatever. And obviously the flood was that bad that their car couldn't go through the flood, so they ended up drowning. Now, if I see 2 things, if I see there's water and I think it's going to fuck up my car, I'm not going that way. That's the first, that's a more logical thing. And the second one is, like, why wouldn't you just get out the car? Like, is it that not the most common, like, if you unlock the car, even if your car's unlocked, you're in the water, so you can see water's coming in, so it's flooding up the car. Just get out of the car, no? Is that not just common sense to get out of the car?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. I mean, to that specific example, it's probably either they're panicking or they just, maybe the common sense just evaded them at that time. I know obviously sometimes if you get stuck in a car, you can't open the doors, and it depends what car you're driving. So do you know what I mean? Like you got to climb out the window, or I don't know how big these people are. Maybe they couldn't fit out the window. I've got no idea. But I think I can see how you could generally get trapped in a flood, because obviously, you know, where I live and where I've lived before, it doesn't really get flooded and it's calm. But I can see, I don't know, like, you know, some of them ones you got the basement flat. Water's dangerous. You know this anyway. That's obviously us, man. Not really trying to be out there swimming, but no, water's dangerous. So you could just get trapped. And those places where the floods are nuts as well, where they're coming to like my shoulder height. Yeah, if you're shorter than me, or even if, I don't know, like you're 5'5", 5'6", whatever, yeah, it could be a myth. And it's not the calm water, it's not bath water as well. It's water that's coming in ready to attack people. You know, Mother Nature fighting back, do you know what I mean? So I can see, but yeah, there's definitely some situations where I look at it and I think, why did you leave the house? The heat one, I can see how you could get caught out. If you're thinking everything's fine and your body just one day says, but that's it.
Man. We always see this even if, like, say for instance, you're out and it's really hot, right? All you need to really do is have fluids in your body. So all you need is water to keep your body hydrated. That's number one. Number two, at least everywhere in the country has air conditioning. Whether you got to go to a public place, whether you got to go to your bedroom's house, whether you got to go to a family members, they got aircon. Or you just stay in a cold bath. You get a lukewarm shower. Do you know what I mean? There's things like, I don't get this whole people dying in the heat. Again, that's people that normally drown because they've been swimming. Do you know what I mean? I'm not taking a piss, but we see a bit of sun in this country, but especially they'll find the tiniest bit of water. Like it could be the tiniest lake in England or a pond. And they'll swim in it. You'll see them, they back off all their clothes and they're just there in their underwear. And they're in there. And then they before you know it, they're stuck in the water and they drown. So I think
there's that element. But I think to be fair, the heat ones usually older people, isn't it? So they maybe they ain't got the peace air conditioning, or their body's that sensitive to the heat that
come on, we do this every week, man. Get a bottle of water, man. Just get a 1 litre bottle of water, man.
Come on. I can see how you get caught out. If you're old, you've got a health condition, and you know, sometimes you just forget to drink. Do you know what I mean? Like
don't do that. Don't do that. I said you forget to drink, you know.
No, listen, I'm just saying I can see in some circumstances how you can get caught out, especially if you don't know that your body's going to react like that to heat. Because I'm not going to lie to you, obviously when we was in Barca, I can't remember what day it was. I remember it was mad hot, and obviously we had the water with us, but there's times when I think, it'll be fine, because I'm just not used to being in that prolonged heat for so long. And then after a while, I'll be thinking, yeah, fuck, it's hot, man.
Yeah, man.
But I'm here, innit? I'm not a spirit, so I survived. But some people ain't that lucky.
Never me, man. Never me. Never, ever could be me. But I get it, man. But I think the storm's meant to pick up the next couple of days. Like I've been reading that the storm Kieran is it's picking up. So anyone who's out there, don't go for a swim. Don't do anything stupid.
It's not good. I was guessing someone up about I think they're supposed to go sailing or something this week.
See what I mean?
And I was saying, oh yeah, it should be fine. I think the worst is over, but
even if it wasn't over, you know, there's going to be an aftermath of the storm. Like the storm doesn't just clear up and go. There's still going to be the aftermath of the storm. So even if it's like, you know, 30, 40 mile per hour winds or whatever, it's still going to sway you. Do you know what I mean? Why would you go sailing? Like,
perfect weather for sailing. No, I don't know. I hear you. Yeah. Be careful out there. Depends when this comes out. If this is released next week, might be too late.
Come on, man. You know, yeah, it could be too late. No, I'll be out today, man. We're recording this today. It's dropping today, man. That's how we do things here. But
no, I feel that.
I wanted to. Obviously, we spoke offline about. We spoke about it last week, actually, offline, about the whole situation with Israel and Palestine and all of that, and just how it's a massive topic. And I think it's not one of those kind of debate topics. It's more awareness topics, because I don't. I'll be honest. Even up until last year, I didn't really and I still don't fully understand the history of the conflict and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I've been doing research and I've been reading up and I've been tapping into reliable sources and understanding like things. And it's worrying. One of the things that's really worrying is when you look at, especially in this country, the mainstream media, how they're spinning in the narrative. It's scary because like like they're saying that the conflict started on the 7th of October, like things like that, and just how many Israelis have been killed by Hamas and all these things, and you're thinking, boy, like, so the history started on the 7th, yeah? Is that where I've got to go back to? Or I've got to go back about 70 years? Because I think I've got to go back a bit further.
Yeah.
But it's sad. I'll be honest, it's sad. I said to you before anyway, we couldn't record this pod and not really mention, like, I'm watching people die live on my phone. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is genocide. It is madness that's happening to the Palestinian people. And people, like, there's so many people that are like either using it to their own gain. A particular Arsenal fan that used to work for a newspaper, you must know who I'm talking about. You know, he's using it to boost his viewing, his numbers.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And he's bringing on people, siding with one, backtracking, saying he didn't say this when clearly he did. You know, he had someone called Loki, a rapper, that was on his show the other day, articulated himself very well and had him spun in webs. He had him caught in a web. But what do you think about the whole conflict? And not to say like who's right, who's wrong, because again, it's not really that discussion, but it's just sad, isn't it? Like seeing people lose their whole entire family over a conflict of war that they're not actually involved in.
Yeah, it's messy, and because I mean, similar to you, I'm not going to profess and say, oh yeah, like I know all the ins and outs of it. I think like a lot of us, we were aware that something was going on, but in terms of, like you said, when it started and how, listen, there's so many different narratives around how it began, the origin. You really got to take a step back and piece it all together yourself. The actual, I mean, I'm not even keen on using the word conflict because I don't even know if you can call it that or whatever. But that's it's all messy, and I think because, you know, from the research that I have done, it's really hard to untangle exactly like why this is all happening. Like when I say that, I know that there's lots of reasons and lots of causes that people are fighting and siding with, but trying to break it down into like these people did that or that people did that. And even in saying that, what's funny, what you mentioned about especially the English media as well, and I know the parts of the American media are very similar. I think certain people are forgetting the role that the country had in that conflict as well. You know, again, I won't go into too much, but it's crazy. Yeah, that's what's coming up for me initially. I've got, you know, another thing that I know that we were talking about offline, but yeah, it's just horrible. Like, it's the images, and think about the whys and the whos and the divisiveness. Horrible, man.
It's sad because I was listening to a very, very good podcast the other day, actually. A very sort of balanced, but there was a lot of bias on there from a particular viewpoint as well. But it was so informative. I'll have to send you the link to it afterwards because it was an informative discussion. People speaking over each other, but still trying to get a point across. And there was a woman, and I forget her name, but she was making so many points. And it wasn't about, like, she wasn't denying the fact that Palestinians had also killed and also had, you know, it was also fighting back, you know, because the whole narrative in this country is, oh, Israeli has the right to defend themselves. But what about the Palestinians then? Are they not allowed to defend themselves? Is that what we're saying? When it's, remember when it was Ukraine, it was, we've got to welcome all the refugees and we've got to do this and da-da-da-da-da. This country doesn't even want to like put a vote in to have a ceasefire for the Palestinians. There's no talk about refugees coming to this country because of a war. When it was the Ukrainians, we all had the Ukraine, well, not me, not you, but a lot of people had the Ukraine flag, this, that, the other. I'm seeing footballers getting banned from playing football, coming out having to apologize for but what they strongly believe in. Like if you've got Zinchenko that can put up, pray for Israelis and this and that, why can't someone like Chowdhury, El Ghazi, I think was another one.
Yeah, for mines.
Why are they having to come out and put out long statements to say that they didn't mean what they meant when actually they did mean what they meant? Like, it's so double standards, and like it's like I've always said, man. The narrative is always going to be the narrative because it's controlled by particular people at the top. And for me, one of the things I researched was that, like, it's like the Palestinians have been living in like an open prison in their own land. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's mental. It's mental. When you read about it and you find and you tap into like the right source. These people have been living for this for nearly like 60 years. This has been going on. And I always knew things were happening there, but I just didn't, this is ignorance from my point actually. I just didn't really look into it. Do you know what I mean? Because you just don't. But when you look into it, you think, bro, 60, 50 years, these men have been going through this. Boy, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
There's that. And, I remember having a conversation, I won't get too specific, but just as well, that just the lack of response. There was a big response when a certain incident connected with this happened. I think it was the music concert, but just the general lack of response otherwise, from white places. I'm not going to say the media, you know already how I feel about the media.
Yeah.
Trust them as far as I can throw them, but just the lack of thinking about how this is affecting people, and this was my second point was I just feel with, particularly since, I know the country's been like this anyway, but since Brexit, it's now just a team A or team B thing. So either you're on that side or you're on that side. There wasn't even much consideration about, people that are affected in various different ways, people where they're not connected, but they're being re-triggered because they've, gone through their own stuff as well. I just thought the narrative very quickly went to these people are right, no, these people are right. And like you say, there's a lot of, I can only call them dickheads, but out there trying to profit from this, and even people that are connected as well. I'm not going to sit here and say, it's just certain people, it's English people or whatever. Like, there are certain people out there that are just spinning the maddest narratives for views and for clout, and they don't give a shit. Do you know? And like you said, it's not, depending on who you are, I don't think it's really a debate topic. It's an acknowledgement and understanding, and you'd like to think that it will draw people closer together. But in this country, God, like it's another thing just to divide the country yet again. Crazy.
I don't see it as a divide. I just see it as innocent people are losing their lives over something that is mad, and only one particular. Maybe it is a A and B thing actually, but it's more one side of the truth is only being told or being pushed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not condoning anything that Hamas or anything that they've done, because they've killed people as well, and I don't think anyone's like masking over that. That's truth that happened. But, and I hate to add that with a but at the end of that, but this is like ethnic cleansing that is happening. Like, this is happening in a country, and if the people were blue and blonde, I think there'd be a whole different spin on it. I do. I think there'd be a whole different spin on it. The front pages would not be about, I'm going to take that bit out. I don't want to, I'll blank that bit out. But Do you know what I mean? The things that are happening in the country, it wouldn't be on the front news. It would be blue-eyed, blonde kids.
Yeah.
How we've got to help them and how we've got to donate this and that and how we've got to aid them. I was just reading a country's going to give 1 billion something to the Israelis. Like war crimes are happening up and down the country, not just in this war or whatever you want to call it, this massacre that's happening in other countries and other wars that we just don't talk about as well. Like there's wars going on in Africa. Do you know what I mean? Like there's loads of wars in other parts of the world that we just don't speak on. And someone said a good point to me actually the other day. I'm going to try and find it on my phone quickly. And it was a very good kind of point, and I agreed with it, but I probably won't be able to find it now. Oh, here it is. So it says, if a school shooter was hiding out in a classroom, would it be morally acceptable to bomb the entire school? Because it wouldn't. Because you're categorizing every Palestinian as a terrorist. And they're not all terrorists. And you shouldn't be killing innocent people. I'm watching dads holding their children lifeless in their arms. Because, like, this is mad. No thought about anything else. And then there's people here in this country that clearly have big platforms that could actually, I'm not saying they could change it. I'm not saying they're going to stop what's happening yet.
They can say something.
Raise awareness, because they all chat rubbish online every day, or they all talk stupidness about football and this and that and da-da-da-da-da. But when it comes to real life things, you never hear them. You never see them. Brands as well. Remember brands used to, like, do you know what I mean? They only use it when it works to their thing. When it was Black Lives Matter, they all wanted to jump on the bandwagon.
The little black square thing.
The black square thing, and, you know, let's support the... In fact, I want to talk about BLM in a bit, actually. But, you know, even like looking at Marks and Spencer, I don't know if you got to see their ad campaign that they had to apologize about the other day. Where,
I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
So I haven't watched the full advert. I've just seen the still images. But basically, there's apparently Marks and Spencer had filmed this Christmas advert in August, but then they decided, and in part of the advert, they're throwing the Christmas hats into the fire in the house, like a house fire, like a thing, like a log fire. They're throwing them in. Now, apparently, the original colours of the hats were like gold and something else, and then the later one that came out, that apparently shouldn't have come out, the colours were red, green and black hats in a fire. And the hashtag was very suspect as well. It was, I'd have to send you the thing, but it was basically... it was like the Palestinian colours were in the fire and the hashtag was linked to it. It was so obvious what they were trying to do. It was one of those subtle, subliminal attacks on the Palestinians.
Yeah.
And for them to have to come out and apologize and say that we didn't mean it and we're sorry tells me that they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Someone definitely was aware.
So no one can't tell me, but they filmed it in August, it's not that big of a deal. No, it is a big of a deal because companies do this all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think what happens with a lot of these, I can only call it a situation really, but people start to convolute different things. So it's basically, if you come out and say, I don't agree with that, like what you said about this genocide, someone will probably come out and say, oh, so you're anti-Israeli then, yeah?
No, someone's already called me that this week.
Do you know what I mean?
My mentions have been a mess this week, so I'm not going to lie, but not bothered.
But that's not what you said. You're just, it's fine to point out something that isn't right. It doesn't mean that, you are therefore then that's your stance on every matter on that. And this is what I mean about people just want to just divide. It's like, oh, so you said that, so therefore that's your team now, so you're done. Do you know what I mean?
No, man.
And it's just stupid. You can still call something out. It doesn't mean that you're in total agreement then with everything else that might be associated with that. You're just pointing one thing out. And even, that's your subjective opinion at the end of the day. Yeah, people can challenge that. But to start then convoluting that with, so that means that you believed it. And so, but bruv, can you read my mind? Like, what's going on? You Xavier? What's going on here? You know what I mean? But that's what it is.
It's true.
Because then they just want to inflate their own ego to make you look like a dickhead. So then people are looking at them. what they call attention sluts or whatever. You probably shouldn't say that, but that's what it is, though, isn't it? Like let's call it for what it is. It's just someone who just wants attention and they want to drag you under the bus by not properly understanding or reading, or just trying to have that discussion with you privately or whatever.
You know me already, cuz like when it comes to things that I believe in, I'm going to speak up about it, whether it's on a platform, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's on a social thing, whatever. I'm going to talk about it because to me, I just find it mad. And as I said on here about 10 minutes ago, I'm not even condoning what Hamas have done to the Israelis. I think it's disgusting. I think it's, again, just as bad as watching, a Palestinian dad with his kids lifeless in his arms. I think they're both on the same. It's not one's greater than the other. They're both bad things happening.
Yeah.
But knowing the history of why this is happening, a part of me does understand it. Because if it happened in this country, you bet your bottom dollar that everyone's fighting back for this land in this country. So would it be a case of everyone in this country is bad if someone was bombing, trying to take over this country? Do you know what I mean? Is in basic terms, that's what's happening. They're taking over the country that they feel they're allowed to take over. People are fighting back for the land that they believe is theirs. Do you know what I'm saying? If bombs were going off in this country, everyone would shit themselves. They can't even cope with a bit of wind and rain. So what are we doing here? What are we really doing? I just think it's bizarre. And like I said to you offline, it'd be good to get someone on here that can maybe educate, not even just me, listeners, whoever, a bit more. Because like I said, I've done my research, but there's not enough research I think you can do on this. I think you're always going to need to learn about something like this. I think it's that kind
evolving, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know what I
mean?
But, it's always evolving.
But just stay away from the mainstream media. That's all I'll say, especially in this country, because they had a guy in that GMTV thing. What's it called now? I don't know what it's called. Good Morning Britain thing. The other day, he'd lost 21 of his family members. Cause 21, his whole family got wiped out. I wouldn't even been on the TV. I'll be honest, but he was on there. And what's that man's name? He used to do This Morning. He's a prick.
Not Eamon Holmes.
Richard Madeley or something.
Whiteley or something.
No, like Madeley or something like that.
Oh yeah, I know the guy anyway. Yeah.
And the woman whose husband had COVID, he still got COVID like 20 years later. Can't remember the woman's name. Stupid woman anyway. And both of them were attacking this man. They're attacking him. The questions they're asking him, cuz, are mad. And the man has to say repeatedly, like, none of my family are involved in Hamas at all. They're not part of this terrorist group.
Slaughtered.
And my family are dead. And he's trying to explain to them why it's happened and what happened many, many years ago. And they're not even listening to that. They're being ignorant to the fact of what he's trying to tell them. And they're not even listening to that. They're just like, well, yeah, but look at the Israelis. They're dying as well. And look at the Israelis. Look what you've done to Israel. And he's like, but
this is my point, though. Do you understand?
The A and B.
You can't make a comment without someone then placing you on the side and making you and it's not even about putting you in that team. It's making you anti the other team.
Let me be. I'm not bothered. I'll be listening. If that's what they want to call me, then that's their opinion. But I know I'm not that. And that's the truth. I know I'm not that at all. I'm just talking from a place where I don't know the full picture. I'm looking and I'm observing what I see, and I've done a bit of history on the thing. And like I keep saying, this isn't about not acknowledging that there's people dying in Israel, because there is, and there has been, and that's still bad, just as bad. But at the same time as well, we're only pushing this one narrative that Israelis are allowed to fight for what they believe in and protect themselves. Well, what about the Palestinian people? They're allowed to do exactly the same thing. And people are telling me, no, they're not allowed to do that because of Hamas. Well, Hamas is just one terrorist group that was actually created by the Israelis. But let me wind myself in before I get myself cancelled out here. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot that I'll hold back on because it's mad. It's mad. When you do the research and you think, right, so hold on a minute. This is what, okay, that means that, okay. So it's all mad, cuz, but let me just keep my mouth shut. But it's sad seeing people die in any capacity. You know, it's sad, and hopefully there is a ceasefire very soon, because I think even that wouldn't, for me, resolve it, but I think it would definitely cool things down, I think.
That temperature is hot, like too hot. Even I know, obviously, that's that's what it is. But even like they need some respite.
100%, man.
Especially the civilians. Wow.
Oh, I just mentioned Black Lives Matter before.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've been reading actually about, and I remember saying this to you and Jesse at the time, or maybe in a group chat, but so one of the organizers from England, so I think there might be two, again, I don't know the full backstory of this, but basically a founder of, or one of the organizers of Black Lives Matter, the protests in England. I have to say that because I think US is different, but I also think it's happening in the US as well. So her name is Zara Salim, was a director of Change Your Mindset, a charity for disadvantaged youth in Bristol. Now, reading that, actually, I think what the news have done is linked what she's done to BLM, but I still think she was part of BLM. So caveat that, yeah. But basically, she'd been done because all the GoFundMes that I told people not to add any money into, she never done fuck all with the money. She took the money and just ran. So she took about 30K of GoFundMe funds and didn't do anything with it. And this is why I think it's worrying, not just BLM, I'm talking about Heart Foundation and Children in Need and
charities.
all them bumballs as well. Yeah, all of them.
The real gangsters.
The real top shot of them. Yeah, I'm talking about them, man, that are making mad peas. Yeah, Children in Need, Red Nose Day, all of these people, don't give to them because we don't know where the money's going. And a lot of people, like I just said, will capitalize on other people's misfortune. So when things are happening in the world madness, you got Piers Morgan chatting shit on TV. This is why, because people like to see chaos so they can capitalize off it. But what's your thoughts on that? Do you think, in terms of like charities as a whole, not just the BLM one, but like, do you give to charity?
See, the giving bit, it really depends. Not often, and because what I class in that is like if someone's fundraising, so someone's in a run or something, I'll give the money to support them, as long as obviously as long as it's not a mad cause, which I don't know anyone that would run. Listen, there are people out there that be running for Britain's first and give our country back under that.
Britain's
so
first,
No, you've got to check honestly, because I had it once where someone sent me the link to something. I won't say what the charity was. One, because I can't remember, but I remember reading it thinking, I don't support this. I don't want to be a part of this. So you've got to check, but it's quite rare. And I think I can say that with my chest, because with a lot of things that go on, if I truly believe in something, I'll just go and be hands-on and contribute physically. That makes sense. So even like with a lot of the let's call it Black Lives Matter or whatever, I didn't contribute, but I gave up loads of my time to do like mentoring and stuff like that. That's me. I'd much rather do that, because that will help in a different way. That's what I'm good at. Flinging £10, I've got no idea where that's going. Do you know what I mean? Or £20, 30. So no, to answer your question, not it's rare. Like you'd have to really catch me, and I have to know where that money's going. Do you know what I'm saying? What about you? Well, you said you don't anyway.
I have in the past. And I think for me, there was a time where I used to give to charity quite a bit, actually, I'll be honest, but it was never like, and then I changed. So I used to give monetary. I used to physically give, like, I don't know, £10 to something, a charity, normally to do with like neuroscience and shit like that. I used to always give to like parts of the NHS and try and fund charities that way, right? And then I thought, but where's the money even going? I don't know where the money's going. It could be going into a director's pocket or whoever's pocket, the NHS, whoever, wherever, right? So then I thought, let me go and change that. A couple of years later, especially throughout Christmas, like this kind of time now, it's getting colder. I used to just give things to food banks. Like our cupboards, cause are always full with like the shit that we don't eat. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like loads of tinned fucking soups that no one fucking eats. We always buy them every week and we know no one eats them. So come this time of year, we got bare them in the cupboard. So we just give them like, the dried pasta and all that stuff. It doesn't have, it's got a long life expectancy on it. So I still do that because I feel like as much as it's not physically, financially helping someone. It technically is, because they're not having to pay for the food that they clearly can't afford to
This
pay.
is it.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I do that. But all these like children in needs. And I swear last year, actually, he was watching it. It was on. I swear, like, remember back in the day, like the minimum you had to give, or they would ask you to donate, was like £2 for children in need, Red
I feel like
Nose
it
and
was
shit
even
like
less
that.
than that. But yeah, it was peanuts.
Guys, the other week, last year, £20. Asking them for £20, you know? £20.
Has inflation gone up that much?
I was like, bomber clout, man. What is going on here? What is this? And a lot of them fund tobacco and drug things, like, and guns, you know, like, if I got into it, the crooks of it, swear down, no bullshit, Google it, it's there, it's all on the internet. Like, children in need, Red Nose, they fund guns and tobacco and things that you just wouldn't associate. So when you see the swollen belly and the child on the TV, the money ain't going to them with the dirty water. That's why I stopped giving, because I was thinking, it's 40 years later, nearly, since I've been watching children in need.
They've got 2 fountains and 1 school.
Still. Nah, someone's having a bubble, because that, to me, that just tells you. It's not like, and they always fling Lenny Henry over there as well. So always Lenny Henry going over there with his Wookless Russell about, come and help the kids. Come and help No, you help the kids. You're the one flying out there. You're the one with the peas. If you're that desperate to help them. Then why you build it? You could have built them 3 schools by now. The peas he's got. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? What I'll say with that is, it depends on making an informed choice. That's all I'll say. Like, if you want to do it. But I just say, like, know where your money's going, innit? And
don't do it, man. I'm the devil on the shoulder right now. Please don't do it, because I'm telling you, the money is going to. What was that man that used to do? Terry Wogan. Is he dead now?
Yeah.
Used to go to him. You see all these celebrities that say, "Oh, we're giving up our time to do children in need." They're probably getting appearance fees for that, and that's where the money's really going to. And all of those things, and keep the lights on at the BBC and pay someone a nice bonus. That's where the money's going, I'll be honest. But there is other ways to circle back. There's other ways, like I said, food banks, like you said, you know, giving up your time is a form of charity. Like, as people don't think it is, but especially in your field of work as well. Like, that's so crucial to that could be, not to be like dramatic, but that could be like a life and death situation for someone. Do you know what I mean? It could be so like crucial for them, just to they might not be able to afford to speak to, like, do you know what I mean? And you're there.
No, it's true.
To me personally, that's I would value that more than someone flinging £20 in my pocket.
See, this is the things. I was talking to someone about this yesterday. It kind of linked, but I think, I don't know if it's as a nation or a generation. I can't quite figure it out. I think it's probably more as a generation, like our generation. So obviously talking about let's call it the 40 and below bracket, yeah?
I see what you did there. I just about keep in there then.
I think we're not as good, not me and you specifically, but we're not as good at giving, like, practically or physically. What I mean by that is, I know, for example, my mum, or, you know, aunties or whatever, were quite good with the older generation, actually, like, going to, like, the old people's homes, or actually, you know, going into schools and volunteering. I feel like as time's gone on, we've gotten more and more distant from that. So what we end up doing is just, you know, and it's not a bad thing necessarily, but we'll just fling some money or donate just because maybe time or just that effort. Whereas I think really that we should be better at just giving physical time. Like, even when, you know, there's a lot of people I speak to that are, I want to say, about, you know, 50, 60 over. No one fucking goes to see them. Like, they've got family, and it, you know, it might be, I'm thinking of The Sopranos. You know, what's it? Is it Livia?
Yeah,
obviously, yeah, it's tough, innit? But there's, you know, when you know, when I went to see Granddad at the the old people's home or whatever, and just. I was going to say it's like a graveyard, but not in that sense, but a graveyard in that no one was really going there. There's a few people of the older generation that were there, but there weren't any people that were just there just to do it as an act of charity. And I know it does happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not team A or team B. I know that there's nuances to it, but I feel that we should be better at doing that, because actually that physical, practical help, that giving up a bit of time, an hour, a month or something, actually that's a lot more than, donating £20 where they might buy something or they might build something that someone can use, but actually just physically being there as a human. With older adults, with children with learning issues, or just in schools anyway, people that are even, homeless, whatever it might be, whatever it is that you want to support, actually doing that. And this kind of goes back to this idea of charity. I feel like, I've worked for charities, and a lot of people have. When you see the things that go on behind the scenes, you think, fucking hell, is this what you're doing with public money? Okay, you man are out there with all these free paid meals and these fucking meetings that don't make no sense. But public money, charities, by the way, charities, I'm saying, not for, and it's a mess. So it's not to say that they don't do stuff. They, a lot of them do really good work. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I feel like we're missing a trick by pulling away from that practical, getting out there, just being there. 1 hour a month, 1 hour a year. Imagine everybody in this country donated 1 hour just to go and help someone. Do you know, was there 8 million people in London alone?
It's true, man.
60, 70 odd million people. Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's true.
So anyway.
It's true. I'm going to end that by saying, don't give your Rouse Clark money to the children in need. Don't give it to Red Nose. Don't give it to the British Heart Foundation.
Don't give it to Lenny.
Yeah, in fact, quickly, there's a quick story. So when I used to go drinking in Birmingham, office days and that, there was a man that used to come in to the pubs. It didn't matter what pub I was in. He'd always just do the rounds. So he'd always just go around to pubs every Friday.
Yeah. Living his best life, yeah?
So there's madness, yeah. So then I never used to give, because I think I did it first, and he's smart. He'd go into a pub at 6, half 6, 7, where people have been in there since 4. They're probably on their 4th, 5th drink. So they're kind of yeah, whatever, fuck off. Here's some money. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to question you because they just want you to fuck off. And he had the thing. He had a ID card and everything because he was legit. Probably the most legitest people you'd see. And he always used to say, I'm doing this for such and such, my kid. Something. He would always throw his kid into the mix, right?
I don't like where this is going, you know?
No, but he's mad. So then I remember speaking to my brethren that was with me at the time. I was thinking, this guy's got to be a fraudster, man, because we see him all the time. And then one day we quizzed him. And said, what charity do you actually work for? What's your thing? And it was this PowerPoint fucking little thing he'd put together on an ID card, clearly printed off himself. So anyway, I'd moved. This is years later, I'd moved. And my brethren rang me. He's like, you're never going to guess what? Police are outside this pub. They've arrested the guy, the Donny, because he's basically been going around, been doing fraud for years. So he's basically been going around Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, going out on the Saturday with the takings. And he was stupid. They caught him because one of the bars he went in, he must have been his missus that ran the bar or something like that. And it was basically just when he'd finish, he'd go around the bar, he'd take the money out, put the money in his pocket. So they caught him by just literally taking the money out. The little jar things to carry around, the little string on top. He'd open that, just dash the money in his thing. You go. They caught him. So he got done for fraud, because this is what I'm saying. You know how easy it is just to take a little thing round and go, poppies, what's it called? Remembrance Sunday. Take one. You could just grab bare poppies out of Sainsbury's because they got them on the table at the thing at the front. Get one of them little things, just walk around and say, I'm selling poppies. £1 a poppy. Take 30 of them. There's £30 for doing fuck all, man. It's mad. So don't give your money. Speaking of money, as we've been recording, I just see that Jim Ratcliffe is willing to pledge 300 million into Manchester United.
Yeah.
Get the roof fixed. Get the roof fixed. Lick a paint on the walls again. Get the canteen up to date so Ronaldo can come back and be happy. Get some new dumbbells in there in case Ronaldo wants to come back. But what do you think about all of that? Because obviously United is the talking topic at the moment. Obviously, we spoke about it in the WhatsApp the other day. And we were kind of saying, obviously, anyone that doesn't know Kieran is I'm going to say he's a 75% United fan. He kind of lost...
I'm mostly in.
Yeah, he lost a lot of interest with them over the years, but he's 75% back. Jesse's still 100% committed, regardless.
What, to Crystal Palace?
You can't do man like that. No, that was not my views. They're not my views.
Why did you say that, Theo? Why would you throw Jesse on the bus like that?
I've already said 100% from Jesse committed. He's been there. He went through the whole time when everyone was screaming Glazers out. He was still there, saying Glazers out with them as well. The Glazers got to change things, but the Glazers look like they're not going anywhere. That's for certain. No. Jim Ratcliffe coming in doesn't really help the cause for me, I don't think. I think what would have been the most logical, sensible option was to take the Saudis or the Qataris, whoever was leading that, to come in and remove all of them, because the man wanted the full control. He wanted to clear all the debt. He wanted a fresh, clean slate, this guy. And the Glazers said, nah, fuck that. We don't want your 400 million or whatever they were offering, 500 million. Or was it? It's probably even more, actually, I think.
No, it was billions. Yeah, it was billions, I think it was about 5...
It's like 5 billion. Yeah, sorry, I got that wrong. Billion. Still on the Ratcliffe thing in the back of the head. But yeah, we don't want that. It was 4, and I think they were holding out for 6. I think that was it.
Yeah.
The Glazers were holding out for 6
plus.
Yeah. But so what do you think happens with United? Because clearly Ten Hag's under pressure. He's obviously kind of had that issue with Ronaldo. He's now had a similar issue with Sancho. People are blaming Martial. People are blaming the owner. People are blaming the Glazers. People are blaming people upstairs. So what is the thing that needs to change at Manchester United for it to be a successful club again?
I'm going to repeat what I put in the chat. It's done. Like it's done. Do you know what?
I'm not even trying to line you up here, by the way. I'm just.
No. I'll try and be as brief as I can. The Glazers ain't going. They turned that bid down because they know that they can make bare P. They can't lose. They do not give a shit about that club. Like they do not care. That is literally, you know, them jobs you have where you go to work, you do not give a shit. You are purely there to get the money. That day can go whatever way it goes.
You say man just comes, takes the cash money at the end of the day. He's never there. Boss man's never there, but he comes at the end of the day to take the takings and go home.
You know when you have an issue with something and you call up and there's a person on the other end of the line and they do not give a shit. They do not want to resolve your issue. They are there because they just need that money.
Yeah.
That is what the Glazers are. They do not care. It makes no difference to them if the club is successful or not, because it's such a big marketable. It's a franchise now. It doesn't matter what they do on the pitch, unless, and this is what I said, unless they get relegated. And I'm not saying it will definitely happen. Well, I've always said United are closer to relegation than they are to winning the league, which I'm not wrong on that, because they've been nowhere near winning the league since Fergie's left. And it's only because they've got money to splash and managers still to recruit. But it's not going to change. Radcliffe will come in. He can't get full control because the Glazers do not want to sell. They're giving him 25% and a little bit of power. They don't want to sell. Some of them don't anyway. Ratcliffe, what is he, 71? Like, he's not old, but where's the succession plan? Do you know what I mean? And then it will go to someone else in his company. If, God forbid he can't. I say God forbid. I'm not wishing death on anyone, but he can't carry on with that role. It's going nowhere. Like, it's actually going nowhere. So it's done. Like there is no way out of that. I'm not gonna repeat what I said in the chat, but you know what I'm referring to.
Don't.
No, I'm not gonna say it. But it's over. That is it's a broken relationship that cannot be healed between the Glazers and United, and they are not willing to let that go. And I think what happens is with the fans is then they start getting at the players and the manager. You can get at them all you want, but the fact of the matter is it's a cash cow, and until that club gets relegated and it's no longer making the money that they want, and it's getting to a loss to the point where the club is having to go into receivership or administration, which is when they just cannot pull anything out of that club. Nothing will change. It is going to be the same shit. I can't think of another team where it's like, but maybe Everton, for example, where I know that they're looking for new owners, and if they stay in the league, if they don't get the points deduction, it's calm. But they are fucked, and they were winning leagues. They were in Europe, like they were doing big things in the 70s, probably more so the 80s. Yet they're fucked now because someone came in and spent bare money and did not know how to run a club and fucked it up. The Glazers have just. Sorry, I could go on for so long, but yeah, it's done. It's over.
Do you know what I think? I think even if United got relegated, I don't think it would change. I think they'd still be able to get money out of the club because I think there'll be bums on seats. I think people will still buy the merch. I still think people would be invested into the club somehow, whether that's match day tickets or whatever. I think that United's too big of a club. Regardless if they go down, they could probably go into League One. You know, I still see Leeds United fans when they go down. I know it's completely different in terms of their ownership and whatever, but their club is their club. It doesn't matter what league they're in. They could be in National League. They'd still fill that stadium, I think, to an extent. Might not be right there.
Yeah. I agree. United would as well.
United will do that always because they've just got people who are willing to pay for the tickets. I remember checking United tickets once. It was £90 for one seat.
Insane.
And it was a game that was not. It wasn't like a big game. It was like I can't remember. It was someone mad. I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't like a top team. It was like Burnley or someone. Do you know what I mean? Like this, you wouldn't pay £90 for the ticket, but there's someone out there that will pay £90 for the ticket just to go to Old Trafford and get the experience and
the history.
A lot of the same's happening at Chelsea. You know, a lot of the time now it's more a tourist thing. You know, you're in the city for the weekend or for the week. Oh, we got to go Old Trafford. So 9 out of 10 times, it's not even people that want to go to the game. It's just people that are there in the city, that they're there. They have an affiliation to United, probably because of, I don't know, Van Nistelrooy or whoever, you know, Park or whoever.
For the gram. For the snap. Yeah, they got the shirt. They know absolutely nothing about the club, but they're there posting. It's a nice sunny day, you know.
Do a little vlog, get a little vlog going, and then match day vlog, and in the stadium vlog, and halftime vlog, and full time vlog, and be outside.
There's loads of people.
It's all that. Yeah. So I think United, like I said at the start of this, I think United should have just sold fully, and I think you're right. I think the Glazers. I think I read somewhere as well. Because I think Ratcliffe's whole proposal is he wants to start trying to build 25 to the whole thing.
It up. Staircasing, I think.
Even by the time, like you just said, he's 71, even by the time he gets to do that, he'll be passing that on to someone else because he won't be in a position, I don't think personally, to be able to even sustain running a club at the age. If he's 71 now, it's going to take him a good couple of years to even get another 25 to then get 75% control. And even then I read that I think the Glazers still have majority. Like, I can't remember, I'd have to read it again, but even when they sell, say, 75%, they still have a bigger say than Ratcliffe at the table.
This is what I mean.
I can't remember how it works.
It's the way that they're trying to structure the deal. There's all of that. And just the kind of last point as well, which is the biggest irony. All them ex-players that keep talking about the club in the way that they do. I'm gonna kind of excuse Roy Keane. One, because I just like him in it, but two, because when you actually listen to what he says, a lot of it makes sense. It's consistent. Whereas a lot of the other players, particularly Gary Neville, you know, I don't really like him, but they keep such a spotlight on the club. And you can see Carragher does it, but he's doing it on purpose. He knows it's going to draw more attention. Hence, it's going to be more lucrative for sponsors because Everybody knows who Man United are. Everybody knows they're struggling. Everybody knows that Old Trafford Stadium. Everybody knows that they're sponsored by that noodle company, or they've got this thing on the training kit. It's still lucrative for companies to invest in the club, even if they're doing shit, because they just get seen. You know what I mean? So if they were to just shut the fuck up, or just keep it purely sporting and not say anything, and then just go to the protest, that would be much better. You notice David Beckham, you don't really see him. Again, everyone's got different opinions, but he's not really out here on interviews talking about it. He's just saying, yeah, it's really sad. But you see him at some of the protests, though. You know what his views are, but there's a lot of men that are just building their whole empire and franchise on it. And it's kind of what we were saying before about some of the other topics. People are just milking it. And that's going to keep them there. They're going to keep sacking the managers. It's going to be funny. You're going to see all the memes. They're going to do their little announcement with Adidas, a player that they sign, or the manager that comes in. Someone else is going to look at it and think, oh, we should invest in that. But that's all that's happening. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
I agree. Because I was listening back to, I didn't get to see the game because I was out Halloween parties and that last weekend, but I didn't get to see the Manchester derby, but I watched it the day after and then watched the sort of post-match analysis and the sort of back and forth between Neville and Carragher. And it was weird. I agreed with both of them. It was so fucking weird because I was listening to Gary Neville talk about, obviously the structure at the top is a complete mess that's now filtered down to the pitch, to the manager, to the players. And then Carragher, did you see it? I don't know if you got to see it.
I know that there was a heated debate.
So then,
but what was Carragher saying?
So Carragher's basically saying, yeah, but you say that all the time. It doesn't matter about that. But at the same time, the players have to be accountable. And he was basically saying, what can Jim Ratcliffe come in now and change for this group of people? Do you get what I'm saying? And then Gary Neville kept talking about, but look at Tottenham Stadium, you look at this stadium, their stadium's amazing, and all that. But then Carragher's like, yeah, but that's off-field stuff. What about the on-field stuff? What can Ratcliffe come in to do now and change things that will make this team play better? How will Ratcliffe come in and help Erik ten Hag not lose his job? Is basically what he's saying.
I disagree with Carragher. I think that just sounds like someone that doesn't.
Yeah, but what can you do then?
Trying to stoke that
you ask
fire.
that then. What can Ratcliffe do?
What can Ratcliffe do?
Yeah.
If he comes in and he's given, like I said, I think it's done. But if he comes in and he gets that sporting control,
but he won't, because you just said he won't, and I know he won't.
No, I don't think he will. But if you're asking me, what can he do
realistically?
Yeah,
not like hypotheticals or what you would like him to do. What can he realistically do in the club? So that's why I was agreeing with him, because I think he's got a point. Like if he comes in, he's not going to have a say at the table. 25% and the Glazers are still sat there. You think he's going to be, you think they say, shut up, man. you got 25%, man, shut up. What are you doing?
No, they will say that, but and this is not to contradict what I said, but I feel like Carragher just picks certain things. I just think he's a dickhead, to be honest.
Take that away. Take that away from him, because I think the same thing. But his point that he made on Sunday was a valid point, because what is he going to do when he comes in? What at the same time as well, he made a good point. Like you brought in Casemiro and then Eriksen, and then you've brought in two players out, obviously aging. You then brought in Amrabat, you brought in Mason Mount as well. And now you're already looking to replace Mason Mount again already.
This is my point about Carragher talking shit, because he's then saying it's the players, right?
No, he's not just saying that. He didn't just say that. He was saying basically, he said he agreed with Gary Neville as well, by the way, about the whole infrastructure and how it's a mess. But what he's saying is, because Gary Neville, his whole stance is, it's the owners. But he's right, it is the owners. But at the same time as well, the players have to be held accountable as well. They do. And I think that's what Carragher is saying. Some of the players have to be held accountable. You can't go on the pitch and play like... You can't have Fernandes as the captain play like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's spitting facts. I'm sorry. And
no, it's true. But
people
these
dig
are
out
different...
Martial. Andy Cole digged out Martial the other night, and he got a bit of backlash for it, because people are like, oh, yeah, but da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, but Andy Cole's spitting facts. You can't be a number 9 striker and have that many goals over 9 years.
Yeah, I know, but this is what I mean about this. This is what the whole episode's been about. All these points are convoluted. Like they're all. It's not one or the other. Do you know what I mean? Like
But it's
the issue
both.
does come. The issue does come from the owners, but you can't then just pick apart someone's argument by then relating to one specific thing. Like, you can blame the players, but who bought the players and the manager? Who bought the manager and the owners? Who's even buying the players with the owners? Who's telling the manager who he can and can't sell? Probably the owners.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that there's like no blame on the players, regardless of who's brought them in. They're getting paid 300 grand. They've got to do a job. Cause like, I'm sorry, I agree with you. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm not saying that the owners. I've always said the owners, and I said that the other night to you. That to me personally, it doesn't matter if you sack Ten Hag, you bring another manager in. They're gonna have the same problems that Eric Ten Hag had, Oli had, Louis Van Gaal had, Jose Mourinho had. So it's all going to be the same issues. But at the same time as well, these are professional footballers. You know,
it's true. But I think what the point is that it's not. But for me, I don't think it's about blame. It's just basically these players are not playing to the way that people expect them to play. And there are multiple expectations. So it's not a case of I'm not blaming them or I am blaming them. It's just that's not the point. Anyway.
It's not about blame though. I don't think maybe that was the wrong word for me to use. I don't mean in terms of a blame. I mean, the players have to do better. It's not about blaming them for the issues, because I'm not blaming them for the issues. The issues are higher up. I've always said that. I said that when it was Chelsea as well. But they have to do better, surely.
I don't think they can though. There are some times when players are not making an effort. I get that. As in,
Did you say Fernandes is making an effort at the moment?
But I've always said this. I think that's the best he can do, and he's just been shown up because
he can do better, man. Because he's shown spells that he can play better than he's playing at the moment. So I'm not saying he can do that consistently. He should be doing that high level consistently. But watching him the other night or the other day in the derby, he could have done well better. But
he's always done this. Like, this is what I mean. That's who he is. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, let me not use that example.
But then that's the point, now, isn't it? If you know that he can do it, but he's not applying it to himself, that's on him, because he's proven that he can do it.
He's not good enough to do it. Like, he does that repeatedly.
He must be. If he's done it once, he can do it. If you can ride the bike once, you can ride it for the rest of your life.
That's literally like saying, when someone goes into work, they should be performing at 100% every time. And some people can.
No, some people... You think I want you to come in and do 50%?
Performing and getting results. Some people can, and some people don't have that mentality. So they're always going to have off days. And that just means that they're not good enough to perform at 100%, which is their expectation.
Surely, so if you had a business, you want all your employees to work 100%, don't know?
But they're not going... But if I'm hiring people and I know that they can't do that,
and you shouldn't hire them. That's on you.
There we go.
Yeah, and I didn't disagree with you.
But that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to the players, I don't think necessarily it's like they're coming out and, maybe one or two players aside that maybe don't give a shit. But I think a lot of them are trying their best. And sometimes their best is that they can perform at 100% and sometimes they can't. It's like Rashford. I don't believe that he turns up some days and then says, I can't be asked today. I just think generally he's an inconsistent player. And sometimes he can get to that level and sometimes he can't. But I don't ever think he rocks up thinking, I'm not going to bother.
No, I don't think he does that, but I think he can do better. So flip it round. I'm not saying that I think he thinks that, but deep down, he must know he can do better.
Yeah, I just think it's an unfair expectation, because apart from the elitist players in the world, everybody has ups and down days. And I think that crop of players at Man United, I generally think that is the best they can do in that circumstance. Like, I think they're probably all playing to the best of their ability in the environment with the resources that they've got. If you take them out and put them in other teams where the environment is better, some of them might perform more consistently. But in that circumstance, I don't look at that and I think, like that should have finished 1-1 against me. I'm just looking at it thinking, I expected that to be 3-0, because if you're who played, like Rashford or Garnacho or I don't think Casemiro played, or if you're Mount, when you've got Johnny Evans and Lindelof behind you, there's a ceiling anyway. And also, you're not a very consistent player. So it doesn't surprise me that you're doing that. I'm not going to say that you should be playing better, but I know that you've had better performances. So I can't really throw you under the bus. That's just as good as you're going to be in that circumstance. It is what it is. Same with a manager. I look at it and I think, if Ten Hag had Pep's resources, that he's had at all of his clubs. And this is not a slight on Pep. Like Pep's great. Let's just say that from now. But if every manager had those conditions, they would probably be doing better. But if you don't have those conditions,
when you say conditions, what?
Unlimited money, the best players in the world,
Chelsea's
the best academy.
Money. Chelsea had one of the best academies. Chelsea's had unlimited money, and look at us. So that narrative, as much as I agree with it, isn't always the right thing.
But it's not the setup that Pep has, is it? Really?
But it's unlimited money.
The resources are, yeah, but the setup isn't. It's a different setup, isn't it?
You said resources though.
No, I'm talking about the whole shebang. I'm talking about everything that
you said resources, you know what I mean? First though.
No, but you know what I mean. Like Jose to a point. His first spell at Chelsea had unlimited resources. The setup was great, and he got the max out of that. He's still got the record for the least goals conceded in the season.
No, I hear what you're saying though. No, I hear what you're saying.
I mean? So yeah, the same with Ten Hag. Like, maybe he can do a bit better, but I think he's doing the best he can to his ability in that circumstance.
You don't think he can do any better at the moment, Ten Hag?
Clearly not, because he hasn't.
No, that's not the question. The question is, do you think he can do better?
I don't. I look at it and I think, like, his first choice back four consists of Johnny Evans or Lindelof or Maguire. Or
that's down to injuries though, isn't it? So that goes back to your point about under the current circumstances, then yes, he's probably doing his best as he can with injuries included.
Yeah.
But then I suppose when the team comes back and Martinez is still injured, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, I think he's done to the new year.
Okay.
So I'm not making excuses for him. Like, I hope he does better. And my expectation is there can be more he's doing. But I look at it and I think if that's consistently how he's performing, then that is where he's at right now. He's not going to miraculously do any better. And that's down to the circumstances. The same with those players. I don't think they're waking up thinking, fuck this, I'm just going to rock up and collect my peas. I genuinely think that he's going to go out and win that game of football.
There are footballers, and I watch podcasts, and I know a couple where they just said, I've just turned up. I think even Dele Alli said it at one point.
Yeah. But you know, with no disrespect, you know how I feel about Dele Alli. Like, I look at his career and what he's won at the points where that was probably happening, and that shows. Do you know what I mean? And he said that by his own admission. But I don't look at that Man United team and think, these men are just thinking. I think 95% of them, maybe 5% might be, and that might be enough. But then I look at it and I think, no, that's what that team is. It is a top 10 team. It has been. Regardless of how much money has been spent.
You can't say it's a top 10. No, you can't say it's top 10 and spend that much. You can't.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. We're looking at how much has been spent. But I say the same with Chelsea. Look at all the money that they've spent.
Yep.
Are we saying they're a top 2 team? They're not really, are they?
Should be. You can't spend £1 billion and not be a top 2. This is my point. You can't spend that much money on players.
These are different points, though. I feel they're top of the spending table, maybe. But in terms of when I look at that squad, I'm not looking at it thinking.
But that's a different point.
But I agree with
you there. I agree with you because the squad isn't good enough to compete for second or first. It isn't.
So then the money's irrelevant, because if I go out and say to Titus Bramble, listen, come out of retirement, we're going to give you 500k a week. That doesn't automatically mean that team should be challenging for the league.
That goes back to my point that it goes the top. When I said at first, this is one of the things that I think is wrong with United, is the top is the root of the evil. The same at Chelsea. Like they can't throw money at things and not have a plan that goes underneath it. Because when you throw money at something, regardless if it's United or Chelsea, the problem is that you're just throwing things and hoping it sticks. And when it don't stick, you're like, shit, what do I do now? Right. And there's no plan B, there's no backup. The players that you bring in have to work. So I think that's the same thing with United. You spent a lot of money on players. And even like, I look at Mason Mount, man. I mean, boy.
He doesn't want to, I don't think he wants to. Not that he doesn't want to be there, but I think in an ideal world, he would have just stayed at Chelsea.
I think a bit of him, the fallout, whatever happened at Chelsea, because remember, it was Liverpool or United.
Yeah.
And I think the fallout swayed him. Obviously, again, United's a big club. I think we've got to remember that. United's, in terms of history, they're a big club.
Yeah.
So it's
sad that this is where we are. But yeah, it's true.
No, it's true. No,
I'm just saying it's sad.
I think if United ever got relegated, it would. I remember thinking when Everton nearly got relegated last season and season before that, I thought, right, I'd be mad if they weren't in the Premier League because you just know them for being in the Premier League. And obviously United, when the Premier League started in '92, were just dominant. So it was like to see them not in the league would be mad. It wouldn't feel like a Premier League. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd hate for United to go down, really would. But I just think for me, the manager has to, and I think this about Pochettino, so I'm not just digging out Ten Hag, but you have to have different plans, man. And if something ain't working or your players aren't performing, we've spent enough to get us through this season. We shouldn't be winning the league, and we shouldn't even get top 4 or top 5, whatever it is this season. But we should definitely be winning certain games that we've lost already. And the game at Arsenal, we should not be drawing at 2-2. So that then comes onto the manager because the manager made the wrong decisions at the time when he made them. I think he brought off Mudryk at one point, 60-something minutes into the game and brought on Nicholas Jackson. Bad move. Like those things, tactically, when you mess things up on the pitch, it doesn't matter how much you spend or the quality of your players or how well they're performing. The manager then has to take some of that fault for losing the game or drawing the game or whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? So
I don't disagree with that. But even with Chelsea though, they're what should we call them? Like a top 16, realistically? You put them there? Top 8?
I'd say top 8. I'd be honest. I'd say top 8, top 6. And but we should be a top 2 team. And I'm not saying that. The reason I'm saying that is because when you spend £1 billion, you should be able to say, right, after my £1 billion that I spent, I've got my top class goalkeeper that I want. We haven't got that. I've got a prolific goal scorer. We ain't got that. But you should be able to say these things. So this is why I'm saying it's back to the recruitment and just throwing money at the wall and hoping it sticks. We've brought so many midfielders. We don't really need all of them. Same with the wingers. Same with the centre-backs to an extent. So we brought all these players. We haven't addressed the 2 issues in the front and the back.
You've got an imbalance,
Yeah. So we should be, after £1 billion, I think had we got a striker, got a goalkeeper, I'd say we got the squad because I genuinely think we've got the squad, but we need a goal scorer and we need a goalkeeper.
I think when fans start to separate the money from the bigger picture, I think then you probably get a more realistic idea about where a club is. I think sometimes the money that is spent. You
need to listen to my other podcast though, because you'll know where I think you'll know where I think Chelsea are. But go on.
Caught me out. I haven't been listening. But no. I agree. But when like I said, when I look at that Man United situation, I think in general a lot of people have unfair expectations of managers. Even Ten Hag, he's 15 months into the job in that job as well, and. United are like 9th with 10 games gone in the season, and all of a sudden it's the sack, and it's like, this is insane. Even like managers that are 3-4 months into a job and thinking, they might not be right. It's like it's fucking 3 or 4 months into a job. Even players out of form. It's like, these men, they're not robots. Like they can't play perfect. 38, 60 games a season, whatever it is. But that coming back to your original question, Man United are fucked. I'm going to tell you that now. It's over. All them dons that grew up watching them in either the 60s or later on in the late 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the early 2010s, all them glory years, hold on to them and reminisce. But that's done. That's not coming back anytime soon till them Glazers go. And it might be through relegation. So just get used to that. It's done.
And on that note, it's a good way to end the pod, though, to be fair. But on that note, obviously there's some big games coming up. We've got Tottenham Monday, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it should be a good game. But anyone who's listening to the pod, hopefully, you like a bit of football at the end. If you don't, then unfortunately, you've probably dropped off by now anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you go to Spotify and hit the notification bell. And also go to the social accounts. Make sure you go to the Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you're following on there. And yeah, we'll be back next week, man. Episode 9 will be out hopefully next week. And when you're listening to this, we recorded it today, so that's dedication. We're going to be releasing audio today, the day that we recorded. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend.
Efficient.